No, that's a YouTube, which is what we're doing.
Can I pick any one of these guys?
No.
No?
Get the whole window.
Okay, good.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Tonight is November 12th, and this is the meeting of the Wolfeboro Community Television. We'll be looking at the infrastructure budget. We have a couple things we got to read first. Meeting, welcome to the November 12th meeting of the Budget Committee. Due to the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis and in accordance with Governor Simmons' emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order number 2020-04, this board is authorized to electronic. However, the committee has decided to proceed with a hybrid meeting format, allowing for members of the public board to attend and participate in the meeting in person or virtually. In accordance with RSA 91-A:2-3, the board has 3 members during the meeting remotely, which is the public body has authorization to allow. At this time, I'd like to call a roll call vote of all members present. For those participating virtually, please indicate if you have any other individuals present with you and in the room. Linda Murray?
Linda Murray in the room by herself in her house.
Thank you, Linda. Bob Tufter?
Oh, sorry about that. I'm all alone in my house.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Bob Woolman? Here. Steve Johnson? Here. Matt Blanche? Here. Bob Mahoney? Here. Tom Bell?
Here in my office.
John Burr? Yep. And myself, John McDonald, was present here. Vote taken during the meeting will be via roll call votes for all members. In accordance with emergency order number 12 for members of the public, this is to confirm that we are video or electronic means to go to meetings. All members of the public and the board have the ability to communicate temporarily during this meeting through the go-to-meeting platform. And the public has access to temperature listen and if necessary participate in this meeting through dialing the following phone number. 1-571-317-3122. Followed by the audio access code of 888-209-605. Or the video at https://global.gotomeeting.com/join/888-209-605. Providing public notice of necessary information for access to this meeting, we wish to give notice to the public about how to access the meeting in person or use GoToMeeting, and the instructions provided on the town of Wolfeboro website at wolfeboroNewHampshire.us on the virtual town meeting login information page. Providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are any problems with access. If anybody has a problem accessing the meeting via phone or computer, please immediately call 603-486-2692 or email hgnbrikson.leanne@gmail.com. In the event that the public may have access to the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled for another time. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Just one thing before we get started, we got a letter here. As the chairman of the budget committee, from Drain Grillo, and he wanted to provide the budget committee and all town officials with a copy of the Watchtower which I'll give to the town manager if anyone wants to take a look at it. They're sending it out to all the national, local elected officials. Okay, so I guess first I'll ask you on town manager if there's anything you want to talk about before we start on municipal electric department.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. First of all, Barry Gio is participating remotely. I think you'll find that his budget is well in line. Overall, he's $168,472 increase. Mind you, that some of these increases, both of these increases are associated with increased long-term debt. We have one which came on last year, and you'll see an increase in the principal payment of $170,000, and an increase in the interest payment of $43,000, for a total increase in long-term debt of $213,405. Larry, you can speak to that if you have any questions. With that said, the only other thing that I'd like to say, Mr. Chairman, for anybody out there that's listening, cases of COVID-19 in our area are starting to increase. We encourage people to continue to do social distance as much as they possibly can. Try to take care of personal and well-being of our citizens. With that said, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Town Manager. I just got one quick question before we start here. People ask me about the telephone poles up on Main Street. Are those new poles that are going to be replaced?
Yeah, the new Main Street poles that are set on the side of the road there are part of our phase 5 conversion project. Correct. They will be.
Do you think they'll be in the ground before winter time, or?
Oh yeah, we'll let everything in the ground. They're hoping within the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, great, thank you.
Question before we start?
Yeah, sure.
I guess I have a question on the probably checking if I'm wrong with the time manager. I believe in your email is this 44,155 personal administration line, the asterisk, that is the health insurance line, is that correct?
That is right.
And that applies to the electric department. So each one of the sheets that has a 41550 line personal administration is the health insurance line for that department.
That's correct. So each enterprise fund will roll in out the sheet so that you can see that number specific, and as well it's billed to that particular enterprise fund for tracking purposes. Again, when you go into the sub-sheets, you'll see the yellow highlight, which should paint a picture of the historic cost over the past 2 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Further follow-up question on that 4150, that is not in this, that's only going to appear in the insurance prices. Like, if I wanted to flat line at 170,94 number, these sheets probably not.
No, so if you look at those cover sheets, the next ones that you have that are highlighted in yellow, you add those numbers up and those, the generation and the administration budget, that would equal the number that you're looking at.
So in other words, the calculators on the administration, distribution, so when you add those three together, we would come up with 1 cent.
Correct.
So when we're backing this insurance out of these, that's going to instantly show all department budgets as a decrease. So presumably, if they're with this new distribution, they're already going to be in a favorable position for having a lower budget this year as opposed to last year.
Not nearly as smart sheet there you have the Community Smart sheet, those complete lines go back out completely, so you're comparing straight across to that is not in that line. However, correct.
So they're not in there.
They are not in there.
Well, my question is because the homeowner insurance out of each department budget, each department will show from last year to this year, in this case, the electric department, they're going to be instantly 170 under, that's not going to be incorporated into that budget, that's under separate budget. So in other words, if they come in, if the budget comes in, if the electric department comes in at plus $10,000 saving, they would actually be, if you're doing it, incorporating the insurance, they'd be actually 180 up over last year. That's my whole thought process is they instantly have a reduction in each of their,
So,
how it's reflected within their department.
so when you look at the Community Smart sheets, the old sheet, if you were to look at 2020 budget appropriation, you would see a line number 210, and a line number 219. Those no longer exist in the department budgets. So those have completely been removed in the 2021 budget proposal and are coming at you in a standalone line for the general fund, for the water fund, for the sewer fund.
So you're trying to keep
And I think the question, in last year's history is no longer in your view, so really, it's not there, but they're here. So it's,
It will not be there, but it will be in standalone.
no, I think it's a question more is, departments are a little positive and they're not. That's not true because there's no comparison from last year on those insurance items.
Correct, and that's why it's broken below the line in the yellow highlight
Gotcha.
in those cover sheets that you requested to get back.
Yep, thank you.
I hope that clarifies it.
John?
Yes, John, go ahead.
The items here for the insurance, health insurance, are these estimates for 2021?
No.
These are solid figures.
We received the rates. The rate is increased 7.5% over last year, effective July 1. So the numbers that you are going to be seeing coming forward are the numbers for healthcare. There should be no other adjustments. Mind you, there is a wide range of single person versus family plan. It is a split there of about $20,000, and I believe if you look at Barry's budget, last year the 2020 appropriation for healthcare was $170,094. This year we're asking for $121,428, and that's because it's had a change in personnel, which went from a single person to a family plan, which has a significant impact on the budget.
I understand that. For my own sake, I'm going to include the health insurance with the departments, just so we can not have apples and oranges, and I go back to 2000.
And we're doing the same thing in there, it's just not showing up in the sheets.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I don't want to be dead on the question. So when we see if the department is 2% over what it was last year, that 2% is contributing already has the health insurance built into it.
No, because health insurance is not.
Let's leave this.
Health insurance is a standalone line going forward.
So if the department's up 2%, that since health insurance has been extracted, both in history, there's no comparison, there's nothing in there. So what the 2% is actually the 2%. It's just
2%
like health
over what they
insurance
got.
disappeared.
Right. Okay.
He's accounting for it on a, over here on the side someplace.
So if you added it together, it's gonna be lots more than 2%.
Yeah, you couldn't do that. We're working at it. When we come down to the bottom line for department, it says they're, you know, they're good for 2% better than last year.
Right.
That's true from an operational point of view, not considering the health insurance issue.
Okay.
Well, John,
Yes, sir.
Jim, what was the rationale behind doing this? Because it sounds like there's a lot of people that are confused.
Yeah, so there's a lot of rationale behind it. First of all, we actually received our rates very early this year, earlier than normal. Last year, we did not receive them until the week of Thanksgiving, which means, guess what? You've gone through a bunch of budgets, and all those sheets that you have essentially are no good anymore because we have to make healthcare adjustments. So there's reason one. The other reason is if you were to look at, for example, the library and or the police department, they operate under a commission, and if all of a sudden there is a change of staffing, and they have a reduction in healthcare, there could be a request for a line item adjustment to move those funds into another line, and then it's not going to be able to do it. So it's an increased control measure, and it gives us the ability to look at the bottom line of the various funds, boom, done, and it's a matter of a quick calculation. Thank you.
Great, John. One quick question. The health insurance that you're talking about, that's only for health, it does not include dental insurance, is that correct?
It does include dental.
Oh, it does include it in dental.
It does include dental.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay, anybody else? All right, let's go to administration, 100 series.
This sheet, when you look at the bottom line, 1.68, that in fact includes the health insurance because I just added it up. Added all the pluses and minuses, including the health insurance.
Okay.
So the front sheet does tell you, including the health insurance, what the difference is between this year and last year, along with all the other line items. But when we get into the line item review, we're not going to see it.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, 100 series.
Notice that the retirement funds are going on all the departments now, considerably.
Yeah, so effective July 1, the New Hampshire retirement system for hourly employees or all employees that are members of Group 1 will transition from 11.17% to 14.06%. So there's not a lot we can do about that at all. Thank you.
Series.
I have a question, Gary, on line 440, on rentals and leases. The lease contract 363, looks like a yearly fee of $32.42. And then whenever explored the possibility of letting line 1, line 3, for that kind of money,
I think I heard you referring to the copiers, is that?
The copy, yes.
Yeah, I think we're included in the copier lease program of all town departments with this one, so.
But I guess that would be a question for town manager, if anybody looking at the, his life business, found that rentals and leases and so forth was way more expensive than just buying them and using them as break and throwing them away. So I wonder if anyone ever explored a different way of doing it. Just for the nation now.
The one thing that I can tell you about that is that beginning in July, we're up for renewal of our lease for all the copiers in town anyways. So, I mean, that's something that we'll probably have to spend some time to look at a cost benefit of leasing versus purchasing and what we're going to do going forward.
Especially when the cost of copiers have come way down.
Yep.
I mean, you can buy, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think, the thing to consider would be the maintenance agreement on those. There's a fair amount of maintenance that transpires, so you have to buy an agreement with the copier.
Okay, 500 series. That's it on administration. And that's 94.8% reduction. The money is $4,832.80. Move on to distribution.
They should let you a mess. 6 feet.
500 series. Yeah, you got two full crew now?
We do have a full crew, yes. Still have 2 apprentices within that full crew, but yeah. Good crew right now.
When do they finish all the training?
We had somebody start in spring of this year, so that'll be 4 years.
Our low man on the totem pole will be 4 years out. The next guy up, Shane, who's in our apprentice program, will top out in about a year and a half from now.
Great.
What's the turnover rate of your distribution group?
So we've had 3 constant people since we took it over. We started out with some fairly young guys, that there was some turnover there. People just didn't work out, and everybody didn't, pick it up fast enough. That's typical in a crew, though. I mean, it's not an occupation for everyone. So yeah, there's been 2 guys over the years that we've entertained.
Okay, 100, 200. Series.
Hey, Barry, I have a question on line 380, outside services, looking what was expended last year and this year to date. I know you're very good on estimation as far as your costs. I'm wondering, the increase outside services going up to 290, 270.
So, yeah, one of the things that I've been trying to do is
Offset some of our outage and trouble calls by increasing our tree trimming work, because 2/3 of our outages stem from tree-related issues. So I've been slowly bumping that up each year in hopes that the payoff will be a direct payoff and a reduction in emergency response type expenditures.
Okay. With your attention to that, tree trimming, do you see at some point in the future where you'll be up to date in that figure you're doing now?
I doubt it's going to come down. I could probably spend double that on our tree trimming, but it's never going to go down. We live in a highly forested area, so.
Just asking the question. Thank you.
yeah, no, the trees don't stop growing.
And further on that particular line, Barry, is that contracted out or is that stuff you guys do?
It's contracted out. That's one of the things right now, being a small utility, we don't always have access to multiple crews. I just like to have 2 crews on during our summer months.
Throughout, but that's been difficult to get, because the larger utilities suck up all the tree trimming crews for the same reason we're increasing our trimming. But I'd hate to think at a time we'd have to go have our own tree trimming crew, but that's always a possibility if we can't come and track.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the 400 series.
I have a question on 430, Barry, with your replacement. Replacement of the ME2. Please talk.
So this is one I would anticipate that next year it actually will go down.
There's like 11-month build time on these line trucks. So in all actuality, we'll have a year of maintenance on ME2. And in the following years, I think when we'll see the reduction in this line.
Okay, anything else on the 400 series? Let's move on to 600.
Can you make a note on this one that
Part of the work we do is our billable tasks. So we do recover some of this money from outside services as well as general operating supplies as billable items. Year to date, we're around $90,000 that we've taken in from work we do specifically for customers looking for changes or, aesthetic improvements or whatnot. So.
Okay, thank you, Barry. 700 series. 800 series. 900 series.
Barry, I'm kind of new with this as far as the principal. As we increase our line 90, as we increase our principal payment over time, does our obligation increase or will it forever be up and down and down?
No, that will continue to decrease. We, as well, we do have we still have our 2004 warrant article. We did be coming off the books here. I think it was actually 2003. It'll be coming off in 2022. So we'll see a reduction there. But this increase is directly related to the latest warrant article for conversion 5.
So I will provide you a copy of the long-term debt schedule that will help to explain that. But as Barry alluded to, in 2022, the principal payment will be the same, but the interest payment will reduce to $134,500. And then in 2023, the principal payment will reduce to $430,000. With a principal or an interest payment of $113,000. And then in 2024, the principal payment will be $156,000 with $99,000 in interest. So I'll provide you this long-term debt schedule.
Like you know, would be great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, we get all set on that one. Move on to our generation. Okay, 100 series. Series. 300 series.
That, bring the 300 here. The 311 consultants we had budgeted 3,000 last year, 3,000 this year, so far year to date, nothing expenditure. Can we lower that?
So there are things that arise at the power plant concerning the oil abatement, cleaning up whatnot. A lot of times we have test wells that need to be repaired. This particular year, although we have everything, there is just a big cost of like $2,100 that we're going to put into it, and an analysis of some of the interior materials within the power plant to check for an environmental assessment, such as lead paint, etc. So although it's not off here yet, we didn't have expenditure on the environmental side. I offered to use the money for the interior assessment as well. I'd like, bottom line is I'd like to carry some money in there because it is quite often that something comes up, although what didn't this year, so.
Okay, 400 series.
What they call the elephant in the room. $6.9 billion.
Okay, 400 series to the 600 series. listed on the, now we're going to try a meter reading pickup truck.
Yeah, just one capital outlay for next year.
You want to talk about now?
Well, I think we can talk about now, but Gary's here, the service, so we did, and we need to revisit more.
Could you tell a little bit about replacing ME7?
Yes, so this is just the replacement of one of our meter reader vehicles. It's 2011, over 100,000 miles, and we received a new one. It's due, it's struggling to pass inspection. So, yeah, they get a lot of use, a lot of mileage.
The replacement, is that going to be a full-size four-door or crew cab?
Going to be, basically, we've been buying those smaller extended cab Colorados is what we have been buying. I guess Ranger's coming, you know, offers something in that size range as well, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm anticipating a similar product.
Don't need any radios or lights or anything like that?
Yeah, if you see, I've got $1,500 budgeted for outfitting with equipment there, part of it.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about the meter reading pickup truck? About the meter reading pickup truck?
I have a quick question, how many customers, electric customers do you have that do not want to have remote meetings?
So I think, as of right now, there's only like 3, John, that have refused the remote reading, the automated reading. And if they do refuse, they do have to pay a surcharge, a monthly surcharge for the older style mechanical meters.
Did you say 3, Barry? I had trouble hearing. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's only 3 right now that
Do they have to
ultimately have refused.
Do they have to pay a surcharge for that service?
Yes, they do.
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
There is a surcharge when you opt out.
Good. Thank you.
Any other questions for Barry? Barry, why don't you just tell us a little bit, I've heard about we're going to save a lot of money on the next purchase of electricity for the next contract. Can you talk a little bit about that? Or?
Yeah, I can. The existing contract runs through 2021, so we won't recognize or see any of that in 2021. But because the electric, the market was favorable, we went out early, a year earlier than we normally do for the future purchase power contract. And because of that, we were able to capture favorable pricing, which will. It's lower than what we started paying 5 years ago in the existing contract. It is with a different supplier. It's with Exelon Energy, which formerly was Constellation, and we've had them as a supplier before, so they're good to work with. They have a good reputation. So once we enter into 2022, we should be able to recognize lower rates. We'll do a rate study and analysis to actually lower our rates over the next 5 years once that new contract starts. So that's good news.
Yeah, it is good news.
And you may recall that last year's budget, Barry had placed $40,000 into the budget to be able to do this. And when we were working with the attorney and Barry's consultant, when we got down to the last day, we hit it right at the sweet spot, I think, is exactly what the consultant said for timing. Just shortly thereafter, we were observing some changes. So kudos to Barry in timing that impeccably as he did to get that out and get the rates for the upcoming contract. That's a 5-year contract.
It is 5 years, so we'll run through 2026. And if you recall,
luck has a lot to do with it, but yeah, I'll take it as good timing and good advice by our consultant, Mayhew Seavey. We were able to capture it, and I think as he noted, shortly thereafter, the market price has increased since then. So, yep, you can't complain about that one. We nailed it good.
Hey Barry, I have a question for you. We were reviewing Parks and Rec budget a couple nights ago, and the electric bill for the hockey rink came up and a higher price. And the question was asked, is the hockey rink a place where solar panels could be used? And we had a little discussion. Wondering what your thoughts might be on the exploration of, say, for instance, if that's feasible, is that something we would ask you about, someone else about? Wait till you're done with your experimenting on your own solar panels or you're putting up. And anyway, just wondering what your thoughts are.
Well, I know that the hockey rink usage off the top of my head.
As you can expect, they are a high demand customer, and therefore their bill is gonna look high. As far as really getting a number and see how much it's gonna help them out, your probably best bet is go right to a vendor that supplies solar, and they could do an analysis for you. Now, as you realize, we don't get to enjoy the tax credits as a municipality that makes some of that feasibility of payback and whatnot really make financial sense. But I would assume you're going to be around $2 a watt. And I know that place probably has a 100 kW demand, and that gets you, if you wanted to do something, you'd be upwards of $250,000 to put a solar system in there, you know, to be able to offset its use. And I guess that's just up to you and the voters on what you feel is a respectable buyback time. Since our rates are actually going down, the buyback will expand outward. It probably makes more sense in a community that has a different utility with higher rates. But I mean, it's always something to look at, certainly. I know there's a lot of rinks that do use solar. They have a large roof, large roof line. I do know that you have the mountain there that's on the southern exposure, so that would probably decrease some of your optimum sunlight, but I'm no expert in solar, but dabble in it.
Just thinking about loud, that's all. Thanks.
Don't we have a committee of some sort studying solar energy?
So we do have an energy committee. I believe they're doing some work right now. Quite frankly, I haven't had time to participate in that committee. I believe there's been a couple of meetings. I'm not sure if you want to speak to that, Eric. I believe Linda has too.
The reason I ask is, I just assume that we don't bring this subject up for every single person that has a building in town, during the session. And so it's of interest to people, and I think we should be briefed on what's happening. And so we have the subject once and we communicate it for every department.
Okay, thanks, John. Okay, does anyone else have any questions or comments about the electric department budget?
Yes, John.
Yes, sir.
Barry, I just wanted to say congratulations on securing that electric contract. I think you and Jim Pino and your consultant did a terrific job on that. And I think right now we're probably, from my memory serves me correct, we're probably running under 14 cents per kilowatt hour, which probably puts us easily 3 cents below the other state utilities.
and it will keep our electric rates level or possibly lower, while the state utilities might be applying for rate increases over the next few years. So a great job on that. That was really terrific.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on. We're going to consider this time. Does anyone else have any other business or any public comment from anyone?
Yes, sir. Just one revisit, and that would be the administrative allocation. If we could just have that as a single revisit going forward, just like we did for Pop Whalen. Line 382.
That's for Pop Whalen?
Pop Whalen and for the electric administration.
You want to deal with those tonight?
Nope.
Okay.
The question is, I'm looking for looking for the comparative I was asking for someone had extended anything last year, this year. I'm keeping like for this year. It was doesn't matter if that money is not spent within the year. Does that go into budget or general? So tell me the mechanics of how that looks, so that I can, because to me that looks like we're making money accessible for something else in the budget, so we're not presenting it correctly, or it has been spent and then gets that.
So if it hasn't been spent, it has not been encumbered, the area of the municipal electric department at the end of the year has a fund balance, just like we do in the general fund.
Okay.
So it would stay in that pot of money, and when the auditors go through and perform their duties and their magic, and at the end of the audit they come back with a number, that should be reflected in there as money that was not expended, which would therefore increase the fund balance of his particular enterprise. Does that help?
That is helpful. Do we, the budget committee, ever get a chance to see that trail?
I mean, I guess if you, I'm not sure if you'd be able to see it in the audit report, but that would probably be the logical place to look, and we can certainly provide you with the audit reports.
Right. Just trying to understand the flow, where it goes.
Based on the last 2 years' performance, we haven't spent any money, but I think in the last 2 years, we budgeted $6,000 a year, so that means it's $12,000 carries that the city is willing to profit.
Yeah, so it would,
Is that correct?
It would sit in his enterprise fund balance.
Now, that enterprise fund balance, if it's positive and if it gets to be a reasonably large number, and I think $12,000 is getting to the point of being reasonably large, would he elect to use that to reduce rates?
That's a question that I can't answer. I think it could be.
Could we get a line for the next year?
Well, I think that would be what would happen.
Should reduce the overall budget. That's where I'm just trying to follow that through to see if we don't expend it, where does it show up, how is it used, and can it be reflected somewhere in negative or some positive pattern.
Yeah, I think it would show up on the balance sheets, and I think it would go to our reports given to you as well. But it would simply remain as fund balance, and then following year, it may get reincorporated for another purpose, to come in front of the voters, and you people and be asked to reincorporate these funds for the purpose.
So I guess if this is 2 years in a row now, we've got $12,000 in there, let's say, as a positive in his fund balance for that particular function of outside services and consulting. I guess the question comes, why do we keep putting $6,000 in the budget if we've got $12,000 sitting there that we haven't spent for 2 years on something that might happen? I just have a problem with it, and I think Steve does too.
John?
On this question, as far as I'm concerned, when the money comes in, it goes into my general fund banking account. But each one of the enterprise funds has an account. So if you pay the water bill, it comes into the tax budget. You take the check and send it in the money to me. But the accounting for that goes is established as a water bill. And the water fund, if I do a sewer fund, if I do a electric fund, enterprise, and the county, now that we have a finance record, to show what each one of the enterprise funds have. And its debt balance is used in determining the electric rate, the water rate, and the sewer rate.
Yeah, I understand. All we're looking for is the accounting of this money that's unspent.
Well,
That's all.
that's a simple thing to get, but it has nothing to do with.
Well, the other, we should be able to go to the record fund and see it. Right?
I can't understand. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing.
We should be able to go to the electric fund and look and see that electric fund balance, what's causing it to go up or down, and this $6,000 of unexpended money should be there someplace. There should be a trail.
We ought to be able to get it now that we have a finance director.
Yes, Bob.
That, the electric fund probably has a surplus of several $million that it already uses to pay for projects. And instead of bonding projects, he frequently pays cash for these projects. And all of that is recorded in the yearly audit. So that money can be seen. It's right there in the audit every year, and it should be in the ledger in town.
I just want to confirm, we're talking about the consultant line, 4343011. Is that correct?
Probably need her
I apologize. I for whatever reason, I lost my connection, so I think I missed the question. Was there a question regarding the consultants line?
Hold on for just a second, Barry, please.
It's 4335, line 311. Excuse me, 4330, line 311, consultants. And you know, it's a small number, but it's $3,000 we're looking for. We've budgeted $3,000 for Lowly's, you know, on the report that I'm looking at for 2 years in a row. We haven't spent a dime in 2 years in a row. And that, I guess, is the one that got this whole thing started.
Yeah, and this.
Okay, so that was the line item I spoke of the power plant, some of the oil abatement.
Yeah, some of the, I want to keep it in there just in case something happens, I think was your term.
Yeah, when things, and that was the line item I also had mentioned that this year we will be doing the environmental assessment on some of the interior issues for lead paint, asbestos, or anything else that in the interior that shows up as a concern before we can move forward with having a plan for that building. So although the money hasn't been spent yet out of that line item, that was the intent for this year. I mean, if you recall that this line item years ago carried a substantial amount of money because we had to reimburse our contractor that was doing it. We have since swapped contractors, and that contractor that we have now, Ericon, actually gets paid directly from the state fund for oil cleanup. So, but again, there's always little things that can come up. I know we had to replace a couple of well heads in the recent past. This year I had to replace some covers down in the parking lot that over the winter were damaged. Luckily that was actually reimbursable at this year, but not always.
I got a question for you, Barry. When you use that term reimbursable, what does that mean? Does that mean it can be accounted for in the rates? Is that what we're saying?
No, the state has a fund to cover these oil cleanup sites.
Ah, okay.
And so we are reimbursed from the
So it's sort of like a grant,
from the grant for the oil cleanup.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Okay, I don't see any more business. Anyone else have anything else? Okay, how about a motion to adjourn? And a second, please. Okay, we'll go through a roll call vote, and this is to a motion to adjourn. Alderman Murray?
Yes.
Paul Tupper?
Yes.
Paul Holden? Yes. Steve Johnson? Yes. Webb Henchy? Yes. Paul Malone? Yes. Tom Bell?
Yes.
John Burke? Yes. And John McDonald votes yes also. This meeting